Have you ever found yourself completely sucked down an internet rabbit hole, totally losing track of time, and wondering exactly how the creators managed to keep your eyes so glued to the screen? Well, today, we've got our hands on something incredibly special. We are looking at a literal blueprint. It's a highly specific set of instructions designed to engineer the absolute perfect viral documentary-style experience. So this explainer is going to be a fascinating meta-analysis of that exact source material. We're going to completely deconstruct the structural demands and the psychological triggers that this text lays out for capturing and keeping a massive global audience.
Okay, let's dive into this. Here is our roadmap for decoding the strategy. First, the viral blueprint. 2, crafting a powerful hook. 3, curating 10 incredible facts. 4, the 10-second visual rule. And finally, number 5, the ultimate call to action.
All right, starting with section 1, the viral blueprint, or the anatomy of engagement.
Right out of the gate, the source material gives us a very specific number, and that number is 10. The instruction explicitly demands a 10-minute runtime. Now, in the digital space, 10 minutes is basically a magic number. It's long enough to provide genuine educational depth and really establish a true documentary-style pacing, but it's short enough that viewers don't feel like they have to commit their entire afternoon to it. The blueprint is essentially asking for a format that tells the platform algorithms, hey, this is substantial content, while at the very same time promising the viewer a highly optimized, efficient learning experience.
But it's not just about the length, it's really about the feeling. Look at this instruction straight from the text. The video should have a mysterious and engaging tone that keeps viewers curious from beginning to end. I love this because it brilliantly illustrates the exact psychological state the source text demands of its audience. You aren't just presenting dry, boring information. You're actually leading the viewer on an investigation. By injecting mystery into educational content, you trigger this continuous loop of curiosity. The viewer simply has to stick around to uncover the truth.
Moving right along to section 2, crafting a powerful hook.
So to actually maintain that mystery for 10 whole minutes, you first have to survive the very first 10 seconds of the viewer's journey. The source lays out this remarkably rigid 3-part chronological architecture, and you absolutely cannot skip steps here. It outlines starting with the powerful hook, moving straight into the core 10 facts, and ending with a surprising outro. It's a very linear path. And that foundational step, step 1, is the ultimate gatekeeper. Because think about it, if the hook fails, the amazing facts that follow are completely useless because the audience will have already clicked away.
So the crucial thing here is understanding what these instructions actually mean by a hook. It defines the powerful hook as a mandatory opening element specifically designed to make viewers want to keep watching before a single fact is even revealed. So this isn't just a friendly introduction or a quick title card. No, it is a calculated, highly engineered mechanism to secure retention immediately. It's the bait. It has to instantly compel the viewer to stay, usually by presenting a paradox, some kind of mind-bending question, or a bold claim that completely challenges their current understanding of the world.
All right, section 3, curating 10 incredible facts. Let's see what goes into the middle of this sandwich.
And here we see our magic number again, 10. The prompt specifically outlines exactly 10 incredible facts that sound fake but are actually true. Honestly, this is a brilliant constraint. It forces supreme curation. You can't just throw in 10 mildly interesting tidbits. No, the text demands facts that border on the unbelievable. This specific framing, sounds fake but is true, automatically sets up a conflict in the viewer's mind. And it's a conflict they can only resolve by listening to your full explanation.
Now, what's really interesting about this slide is the diversity enforced by these required categories. We've got space, the human body, animals, nature, history, and science. The instructions are deliberately forcing a cross-disciplinary approach. And why? Because it guarantees broad global appeal. If someone isn't a huge history buff, well, they'll stick around for the space facts. By rapidly shifting the domain of knowledge, the prompt ensures that audience fatigue is kept to an absolute minimum.
But here is a truly fascinating paradox within the instructions. Despite demanding a mysterious and engaging tone filled with mind-bending facts, the source explicitly states this: explain each fact clearly using simple English that anyone can understand. The mystery has to come from the facts themselves, not from some convoluted academic language. This is absolutely vital. The explanations must be universally accessible, making sure that literally no viewer feels alienated or confused. To connect those clear explanations, the text requires a really delicate narrative balancing act. It's smooth transitions versus surprising comparisons.
The instructions demand that the narration flows totally naturally between completely different topics, jumping seamlessly from the human body all the way to deep space, without jarring the viewer. Yet at the exact same time, it requires the creator to build curiosity before revealing answers through calculated disruptions and surprising comparisons. It's all about creating a super smooth ride that still manages to hit sudden, thrilling bumps of surprise.
Okay, let's jump to Section 4, the 10-second visual roll.
This brings us to what is perhaps the most demanding technical requirement of the whole shebang. There's that number again, 10. But this time, it's not minutes and it's not facts. The source dictates that the visual on screen must change exactly every 10 seconds. Think about how fast that is. 1, 2, 3, boom, change. It keeps the viewer's eyes constantly darting, constantly processing new visual information. It literally makes it physically difficult for them to look away.
And you can't just use any old visual. The text lays out crystal clear requirements, high-quality, realistic images only. Avoid repeating the same image style. This is a direct, calculated tactic to prevent visual fatigue. If you just show 10 consecutive graphs, the brain checks out, right? But by constantly shifting the aesthetic style while still maintaining high realism, the brain remains totally stimulated. It's a very clever psychological trick to keep the audience locked in.
To actually pull this off, the prompt provides a very specific menu of cinematic, high-quality assets to use. We're talking close-up details, wide cinematic shots, scientific illustrations, historical scenes, space images, maps, and realistic environments. This isn't just a random list of things. This is the exact toolkit used by high-end television documentaries. By forcing the creator to utilize these specific types of images, the formula essentially guarantees that the final product feels authoritative, immersive, and profoundly educational.
Which brings us to our final part, Section 5, the ultimate call to action.
Let's see how this all builds up to a highly specific climax for the viewer. Once those 10 minutes are up and the 10 facts are fully delivered, the formula provides a strict 3-step concluding sequence. First, ask viewers which facts surprise them most. Second, encourage likes and subscribes. And third, direct them to watch another piece of content. This is just masterfully designed. Asking which facts surprise them most sparks immediate interactivity. It prompts a conversation in the comments. Combining that with a prompt to subscribe and a funnel into more content, that creates the perfect recipe for audience retention and long-term algorithmic success.
Which brings us to this final summary directly from the source text. Style: cinematic, documentary, educational, mysterious, highly engaging, fast-paced, suitable for a global audience. This quote right here serves as the ultimate checklist for the required aesthetic and tone. If you follow every single rule we've discussed today, the powerful hook, the 10-second visual changes, the cross-disciplinary facts, the simple English, this quote is the guaranteed outcome. It is a perfectly engineered piece of media.
So I'm actually going to fulfill the text's own final command right now and turn it over to you. Looking at all these calculated rules, strict constraints, and psychological triggers, which element of this viral formula surprised you the most? Think about that the next time you find yourself captivated by an explainer online, totally unable to look away as the visuals change right on cue every 10 seconds. It's not an accident, it's design. Thank you so much for joining me in deconstructing this fascinating strategy, and I hope it leaves you eager to analyze the media you consume every day in a completely different light.